close your eyes, take a deep breath. I want you to go back to a Tuesday morning in 1955. The sun is just peeking through the curtains. You don't wake up to the sound of a digital alarm clock beeping at you. You wake up to the smell of coffee percolating in the kitchen and bacon sizzling in a cast iron skillet. If you listen closely, you can hear a familiar sound outside. Clink, clink, clink. Do you remember him? The milkman. He was there every morning, dropping off those glass bottles of fresh milk right on the porch. The cream rose to the top, and if it was winter, the milk might even be frozen, popping the little paper cap right off. We didn't worry about porch pirates stealing it. It just sat there, waiting for Mom to bring it inside. Breakfast wasn't a granola bar eaten in the car. It was a sit-down affair. A bowl of cornflakes, maybe some toast with real butter. We didn't count calories back then. We just ate real food. And then you were off. You grabbed your lunchbox. Maybe it was a metal one with a cowboy or a space ranger on it, and you walked out the door. And here is the amazing part. You walked to school, often by yourself or with a gaggle of neighborhood kids. No parents hovering in SUVs in a drop-off line. We walked rain or shine, kicking stones, talking about baseball cards, and exploring the world on our own 2 feet. School was different, wasn't it? Do you remember the smell of the classroom? That distinctive smell of chalk dust and wood polish. And oh, the smell of a fresh test paper hot off the mimeograph machine. You know that purple ink smell? Every kid in class would hold the paper up to their nose and take a deep whiff. It's a scent you never forget. We started the day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Hand over heart, standing tall. There was a sense of unity. A shared respect for the country that seems harder to find these days. Teachers were strictly addressed as Mr. or Mrs. If you got in trouble at school, you didn't go home and complain to your parents hoping they would defend you. Oh no. If you got in trouble at school, you knew you were in double trouble when you got home. Parents and teachers were on the same team. And when that final bell rang, freedom. We didn't rush home to play video games. We rushed home to change out of our school clothes. We could go outside and play. We played with simple things. A stick could be a sword, a bat, or a rifle. We built forts out of cardboard boxes. We played hopscotch, jump rope, and red light, green light. We roller skated with those metal skates that clamped onto your shoes and you needed a key to tighten them. They vibrated your whole body when you skated on the sidewalk, but we loved it. Now, if you were a teenager in the 50s, life was like a movie. Friday and Saturday nights were sacred. Maybe you headed down to the local soda fountain or the malt shop. You'd slide into a booth, put a nickel in the jukebox, and play the latest hit. Or maybe you went to the drive-in theater. Is there anything more American than the drive-in? Piling into the car with your friends or your sweetheart, hanging that heavy metal speaker on the window. The sound was crackly and tinny, and the popcorn was stale. But it didn't matter. It was about the experience. It was about stealing a kiss in the dark while a monster movie played on the big screen under the stars. We didn't have texting or dating apps. If a boy wanted to ask a girl out, he had to work up the courage to call her house. And that brings me to the telephone. Do you remember the party line? You pick up the phone to make a call, and you hear Mrs. Johnson down the street talking about her pot roast recipe. You had to wait your turn. Or, if you were mischievous, you might listen in for a few seconds. There was no privacy, but there was also no isolation. We were all connected by copper wires and telephone poles. When evening came, the family gathered. Dinner was mandatory. The TV was off. We sat around the table and we actually looked at each other. We talked about our day. Fathers carved the meat, mothers served the vegetables. It was a ritual that kept the family unit strong. After dinner, we might retire to the living room. We didn't have 500 channels. We had 3, maybe 4 if the weather was good. And we didn't have a remote control. If you wanted to change the channel, you were the remote control. Dad would say, "Go turn it to channel 4." And you'd get up and turn that clunky dial. Click, click. Sometimes the picture would roll or get fuzzy, and someone had to stand there adjusting the rabbit ear's antenna until the picture held still. But the shows, they were legendary. I Love Lucy, The Ed Sullivan Show, Gunsmoke. We all watched the same shows at the same time. The next day at work or school, everyone was talking about what Lucy did last night. It was a shared national experience. Looking back, it's easy to see why we miss it so much. It wasn't that the 1950s were free of problems. We had the Cold War, we had drills where we'd hid under our desks. It wasn't a utopia. But there was an innocence to it, a simplicity. We didn't feel the need to document every meal on Instagram. We just enjoyed the meal. We didn't measure our worth by likes on a screen. We measured it by the strength of our friendships and the love of our families. We fixed things when they broke. We didn't just throw them away. That applied to toasters, cars, and marriages. The world moves faster now. It's louder. It's more crowded. But sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, don't you wish you could go back? Just for one day? To hear the screen door slam one more time? To hear your mother calling you for dinner? To feel the safety of a world that made sense? Those days are gone, but they live on in your heart. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it. If you could bring back just one object or one tradition from the 1950s to today, what would it be? Would it be the music, the manners, or maybe just the price of gas? Please, write it down in the comments. I love reading your memories. They're like little time capsules. Thank you for watching. If this video brought a tear to your eye or a smile to your face, please like and subscribe. Let's keep the past alive together. God bless you, and see you in the next video.